I hope this video will be an additional resource in helping you make the decision on who to vote for this 2024 general election. So the presidential election is between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Immigration has been a hot topic for so long. And as an African immigrant, that's one of the areas that I think a lot of people, a lot of African immigrants, a lot of African Americans, people from Africa who are also American citizens, are looking at when they want to cast their ballots. And so today I'm going to focus on the numbers. And by the way, I am Kenyan and I'm also American, and welcome to my channel, The Kenyan American Home. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do hit the subscribe button. But what I'm going to do here is I have looked at the numbers, and this is not me giving my opinion. This is purely based on the numbers. What do the numbers say about immigration? So what I did is I looked at the first 3 years of Donald Trump's presidency, and I looked at the first 3 years of Joe Biden's presidency. So when I compared them. I mean, if we're still in the fourth year of Joe Biden's term, so I couldn't do the 4 years. So, but the 3 years are complete. So we're gonna focus on, Joe Biden's 2021, 2022, and 2023 numbers. And we're gonna focus on Donald Trump 2017, 2018, and 2019 numbers. And we're gonna compare them and see when people say, "Hey, Donald Trump doesn't want you to come to the U.S. as an African immigrant." Is that the truth? Is that what the number says? That, he's going to deport you and all those so many things. I think some of those things are just lies that are peddled. All right, so let's jump in. So I'm going to look at it based on two visa classes. So there is non-immigrant visas. Non-immigrant visas are temporary visas. These are visas given to people to come to the U.S. temporarily. These are visit visas, student visas, J1 visas, and such. But there is also the second class, which is immigrant visas. These are permanent visas given to, immigrants. They, whether they're family-based, or they're employment-based, or they're diversity visa. So when you get an immigrant visa, you come to the U.S. With a green card. So you come to the U.S. as a permanent resident. So focus on those two classes and focus on the first 3 years of each presidency. And then we'll see which year, and what I did too is I went and I looked at the list of African countries. I'm going to focus on Africa because I'm an African immigrant. And I focused on the countries with the most people coming to the U.S. So I focused on Nigeria. I focused on Egypt. And then I also, obviously, I'm from Kenya. I have to put the Kenya numbers in there. And then, so we'll see, we'll compare. So what are those 3 years? What are those numbers for the first 3 years of each presidency? And which one was more favorable to immigrants? Which one was it? All right. So these numbers come from the Department of State. These are published, but if you go to travel.state.gov, you'll be able to get all the numbers. All right. So let's start with non-immigrant visas. Non-immigrant visas, and we'll start with Nigeria. Okay, so looking at Nigeria, Biden's term so far. 2021, there were 25,000 visas in total given. This is Nigeria we're looking at. 2022, there were 85,000 visas issued. 2023, there was 114,000 visas issued. The first 3 years of Joe Biden's presidency, Nigeria had 224,000 non-immigrant visas issued. All right, so let's look at Trump for Nigeria. The first 3 years. 2017, there were 169,000 non-immigrant visas issued. 2018, there was 144,000 non-immigrant visas issued. 2019, there were 92,000 non-immigrant visas issued for a total of 405,000 non-immigrant visas issued. So when we compare the total numbers for the first 3 years of each presidency, for Nigeria, Donald Trump had 405,000 non-immigrant visas issued to Nigeria. Joe Biden has 224,000 non-immigrant visas issued. So in total, Donald Trump issued 181,000. Like his term as the president, during his term as the president, there were 181,000 more non-immigrant visas issued for Nigeria than Joe Biden's. Let's look at Egypt. Egypt, under Joe Biden, 2021 there were 12,000 visas issued. 2022 there were 52,000 visas issued. And 2023 there were 101,000 visas issued. And by the way, I have rounded these numbers to the nearest thousand. All right. So for Egypt, under Joe Biden, there were a total for the first 3 years of Joe Biden's term, 165,000 non-immigrant visas issued to Egyptians. Okay, so let's look at Donald Trump's 2017, 64,000 visas. 2018, 60,000 visas. 2019, 64,000 visas, for a total of 188,000 non-immigrant visas issued to Egypt. So when you compare between Donald Trump's and Joe Biden's terms, Donald Trump had a total, for the first 3 years, a total of 188,000 non-immigrant visas issued to Egypt, while Joe Biden had 165,000 non-immigrant visas issued to Egypt. So that means under Donald Trump, there were 23,000 more non-immigrant visas issued to Egypt than in Joe Biden's presidency. Let's look at Kenya. Kenya, 2021, there were 6,000 visas issued. 2022, there were 16,000. 2023, there were 28,000 visas issued. This is non-immigrant visas, for a total of 50,000 for Joe Biden. The first 3 years of Joe Biden, a total of 50,000 non-immigrant visas were issued to Kenyans. We look at Donald Trump's terms. 2017, there were 26,000 visas issued to Kenyans. 2018, there were 22,000 non-immigrant visas. 2019, there were 22,000 non-immigrant visas, for a total of 70,000 non-immigrant visas the first 3 years of Trump's terms. So that's comparison. Under Trump, the first 3 years, the non-immigrant visas issued to Kenyans were 70,000. Under Biden, the non-immigrant visas issued to Kenyans were 50,000, which means under Trump, there were 20,000 more non-immigrant visas issued to Kenyans than under Biden. I mean, that it's like those numbers are those are numbered. They're like the actual numbers, and I'll show you the numbers because numbers don't lie. Just looking at non-immigrant visas, these are like student visas, J1 visas, M1 visas, P visas, Q visas. Clearly, under Trump, there were more visas given to African immigrants than under Joe Biden's terms. So, like, just looking at the numbers, it's very easy to say Trump favors legal immigration. So if we're just looking at the non-immigrant numbers, I'm going to vote for Trump. And it's not even close. I'm in Nigeria, 181,000 more visas. In Egypt, 23,000 more visas in the first 3 years of each presidency. Kenya, 20,000 more visas under Trump than under Biden. Okay, let's look at immigrant visas, all right? Because this is numbers. This is numbers. We're propaganda aside, we're looking at the numbers. Okay, immigrant visas, these are visas family-based, diversity visas, employment-based. All right, so let's look at Nigeria. Nigeria, under Joe Biden, 2021, 5,000 visas issued. 2022, 5,000 visas issued. 2023, 6,000 visas issued, immigrant visas issued, for a total of 16,000 immigrant visas issued under the first 3 years of Joe Biden. When you look at under Trump's terms, 2017, 6,000 2018, 8,000 visas issued. 2019, 7,000 visas issued, for a total of 21,000 immigrant visas issued. So when you compare between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, you can see clearly that under Trump, for the first 3 years of each presidency, there were 5,000 more visas, more immigrant visas issued to Nigerians than under Biden. Let's look at Egypt. Egypt, 2021, 2,000 immigrant visas issued. 2022, 5,000 immigrant visas issued. 2023, 6,000 immigrant visas issued, for a total of 13,000 immigrant visas issued the first 3 years of Joe Biden. When you look at Trump, 2017, there were 7,000 visas issued. For Egypt, 2018, there were 7,000 immigrant visas issued. 2019, there were 6,000 immigrant visas issued, for a total of 20,000 immigrant visas issued the first 3 years of Trump versus 13,000 immigrant visas issued under Biden. So, as a total, under Trump's terms, there were 7,000 more immigrant visas issued than under Biden. 7,000 more immigrant visas issued the first 3 years of each presidency. All right, let's look at Kenya, finally. All right, Kenya, 2021, there were 2,000 immigrant visas issued. 2022, there were 4,000 immigrant visas issued. 2023, there were 2,000 immigrant visas issued, for a total of 8,000 immigrant visas issued. This is under Biden. Under Trump, 2017, there were 4,000 visas issued. 2018, there were 4,000 visas issued. 2019, there were 3,000 visas issued, for a total of 11,000. So, under Trump's first 3 years, there were 11,000 immigrant visas issued to Kenyans. Under Biden, there were 8,000 immigrant visas issued to Kenyans, which means that under Donald Trump, there were 4,000 more immigrant visas issued to Kenyans than under Biden. I mean, it's not even close. So when you talk about immigration, which president actually favors legal immigration? Donald Trump does. So I know people have propagated propaganda, and all those so many things. Like look at the deportations. The largest number of deportation to ever occurred under Barack Obama. Look at Trump's numbers. I mean, for me, looking at the numbers and looking at immigration, the numbers are like, I don't know why Trump's, people, they don't look at this, because this is like, that's a slam dunk. It's slam dunk. You're looking at immigration, which presidency is going to favor more legal immigration? Trump's going to favor versus Biden and Kamala. So, yeah, I guess I looked at the numbers, and I'm going to show you the numbers here by, that under the Department of State. That way you can see for yourself. And you can, whatever country you're from in Africa, you can look at the numbers and you can do your own calculation. But that's the reality. It's the reality. And I think for me, that's after looking at that, I was like, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to vote for Trump. I'm going to vote for Trump. Yeah. Because the numbers don't lie. All right. Let me show you the numbers.